Okay, guys, so welcome to the webinar. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. The topic today is KV Core Advertising Workshop. So this will have kind of a workshop feel. Understanding Facebook lead ads in quotes. And I'm doing the quotes here on my video. Lead ads. What are they and how to leverage them to hit the ground running with fresh leads, conversations, and closings in 2021. I have Cameron Laird here. Hey, Cameron, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Cameron is a member of our product team here, as am I here at Inside Real Estate. And Cameron, in particular, you oversee some of our advertising and Facebook offerings.
Correct.
Yeah, right. So just to get a little housekeeping out of the way, I mentioned to the group before we started, if you have any problems with the audio, we'll get this fixed, and there will be a replay that we'll be sending out later. You can access all our replays of these featured webinars Wednesday at 2 p.m. East at insiderealestate.com/webinars. We also have insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. And we do have a next level members area where we do some additional advanced stuff at insiderealestate.com/next level. I like to selfishly promote that, Cameron, you know, just because I can. And then we will be emailing the replay out in the next few days. So you ready to get going here, Cameron?
I'm ready.
All right. So let's jump right in, guys. No fluff. What is a Facebook lead ad? And specifically what we're talking about here is this type of ad in Facebook. You may or may not have filled this out yourself at some point, but when you click the ad, it pops up a form in the page. In my screen, let me see if I can make this a little bigger here. It pops up, as you can see in the screenshot on the right, it pops up this form with the person's Facebook name, email, and phone number pre-filled. And an example of this, I'm going to hop back out here. I want to show you a live example, and we have the screenshot. Where'd you go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here, I'll pull up my example. Because I think it's better to experience it. I know for some of you guys it's basic, but I want to show it on the screen just so you get a feel. I'm going to click Show Ad. I had it up before, camera, but I got distracted and started going through my screen. Yeah. And actually, it might be right here. There it is. It is actually there. And then the experience is that you see the ad, and then you click Learn More, and then there we go. It pre-fills the information. The person clicks Next, like so, and then they submit, and then they land on your KV Core website or wherever you happen to be sending them. So if I click this, it should take me through to a new construction list on my friend Kylie's site here that I use as an example. So that is the experience. It's a lead form inside of Facebook. And I think it's really important I wanted to hammer that home because we get a lot of questions. People say, why is this different or better than just doing a regular Facebook boost, which Facebook always offers you, or a Facebook click ad? And the reasons, as you see on the screen, are that you're getting contact info with lots of accurate cell numbers. This is important. A lot of times the person will just submit this with their cell number pre-filled. It's a cell number they gave Facebook. So you get these cell numbers. It becomes very useful, especially when you start to think about the automated follow-up that KV Core can do. You also tend to get a cheaper cost per lead, or we should say cheaper cost per lead when you consider that you're getting a cell number. If you tried to run a lot of traffic, say from Google or from other sources, to a landing page or to a regular KV Core squeeze link, you might find that it costs you more than it does to actually get an accurate phone number than it does when you're doing these types of ads on Facebook. And then I just love them for their speed and scalability. And what I mean by speed and scalability is how quickly you can start to build your database with fresh homeowners and renters who might do business with you someday. It's a very scalable, tons of traffic on Facebook, and you can get results really quick. That said, it's not always fast and scalable to try to put these together, which is the next part we're going to not go into. Now, I see some of your questions here. How do I create the form? Can I get copies of the slides? Yeah, well, I'll send out the slides for sure with the replay. We can definitely do that for you. And then I'm going to show now a demo of how to create the form, the broad strokes of how this looks. So it is going to, for the next few minutes here, I'm going to attempt to do a walkthrough demo. Again, as I said before, just with the connection, every time I get on Zoom and I try to go into the Facebook ads platform, you may hear some audio issues or things may slow down. So just bear with me if that does happen in this case. Okay, so let's go now into Facebook. So you're going to need a Facebook business account. Okay, I'm in my ads manager right here. If you don't have a Facebook business account, you can go to facebook.com/ads or business.facebook.com, and they sort of have a wizard. Facebook does want to take your money, so they'll kind of walk you through the account setup process. It's not too bad, pretty easy to do. Once you've added your credit card and gone through their wizard, you'll see a screen kind of like this, just without all the ads, and you'll be able to create your first ad. So I will click create. You'll see Facebook's just taking a minute to load up for me here. And right in the middle of the screen, you'll see all these different objectives that Facebook offers you. And they can be a little confusing. But the one that I'm specifically talking to now, and the one that I like to recommend people pursue, is this lead generation, lead ad option, because of that form that pre-fills. So I'm going to click lead generation. I'm going to click continue. You guys will all be able to ask questions, and we'll definitely answer after, but it's hard for us to answer live. So just keep asking, and we'll go back through at the end and answer everybody's questions. Once I've chosen the lead generation objective, I'm going to give the campaign a name. So we'll just call this demo campaign. You would do whatever you're doing. If you're in starter homes or new construction, fixer-uppers, whatever, you would put that there. Don't forget to choose special ad category and turn this on. Now, Cameron, I have a question that you can help me with, because you're in Canada. Do Canadians need to do the special ad category?
Yep.
They do. Okay. So everybody needs to check this off, or Facebook will deny your ad. It's kind of an important thing they added about a year ago. So let's go down here. If I'm coming in and out, let me get rid of my video. Some people are saying there's audio issues. This can happen with a lot of people on a Zoom. We have a lot of people on, about 600. And then when I go into Facebook, it does come in and out. So I do apologize. So I've chosen the special ad category. I will choose a daily budget. Now, I do recommend with Facebook lead ads that you set it to at least 10 a day, just so you know you have enough that it can start getting some leads. In a lot of cases, I will actually run this a little higher for the first few days so that I get results quicker, because I want to kind of know whether the campaign is going to work or not. So a lot of times I'll set it to 50 or $100 for the first few days, and then scale it down. But definitely start out with at least 10. We'll click next here. If you see me skipping certain things in this demo, it's because this is how I run the campaign. I generally skip the other stuff that you don't need to be too concerned about. Facebook has so many different knobs and buttons that you can push, but if you just kind of do it the way I am, you'll usually get a result. We have a question about whether $20 a day would be better. I do like the more budget you give Facebook, the quicker your results will be. It's pretty much the answer to that. So better just depends on your budget. Okay. But low budgets will work as well. You guys can go 5, 10 a day and get results. Next thing you'll do is you'll choose the Facebook page that you want to link the ad to. In this case, I have Forever Florida's page linked up. You can also create a Facebook business page on the fly right here by clicking the plus button if you don't already have one. Most of us already have one, and you'll attach your page to run the ad with. Now, I'm going to scroll down here. You'll see this targeting section as I create the ad set. And what's happened with real estate is that they've removed the ability, in a lot of cases, to target specific ages, genders. A lot of the fair housing categories have been restricted. So a lot of people hear that and they say, oh, I can't run ads on Facebook anymore. And we were actually concerned that we were going to lose the ability to get results with Facebook a year and a half ago or so when they did this. But what's proven to kind of happen is that Facebook's algorithm is so good at finding the people who are going to be interested that this didn't matter at all. We get the same kind of cost per lead as we did before. And the only thing I'd say there is that you can target by calling people out with your ad copy. It's a little bit of an advanced topic, but you would basically use the content of your ad to call out certain people in certain niches. I don't have too much time to delve too far into that today, but just put that in the back of your head that you don't have to stress out about the targeting not being there. Now, for location, you can choose certain things. I can do a specific city and 15 miles around, or I can do a whole county. So I'm going to do a whole county right here. Bear with me. So I'll just do my home county here, Pinellas County. And I'll point out that you can choose people living in, or people recently in, or people traveling in that location. So depending on what you're trying to do, you may say, hey, only people who are traveling here because I want to sell homes to people who don't already live here, who this is a vacation area, or only people living here. I don't want people traveling. So that's about all I'll do on the targeting front. You can choose to select placements manually, and a lot of times I'll click manual placements, and I'll remove Facebook's audience network. And they've actually changed the way this looks. They've excluded it for me, probably because I did it last time. But a lot of times this audience network will get you some lower tier traffic, and I found sometimes I get better success when I exclude that. But the one thing I want to point out for everybody is that you can target only Instagram, only Facebook, or do both Facebook and Instagram. So when you target using Facebook, Instagram, since they own Instagram, becomes an option. Good question, can we target zip codes? You can't with real estate any longer. And all ads happen off of a business page, not off of a personal page, Howie. Yeah, sorry about the poor audio, guys. On the replay, it should be fine. Okay, so we'll click next here. And now this is the section where we run the ad. Cameron, how is my audio for you?
It's pretty good right now, but it was a little choppy a minute ago. I think there's probably compounding between your connection and other people's, but it's okay right now.
Yeah, it's probably when I click between the Facebook tabs, because it hogs resources. So no matter how good of a computer I'm on, it's always done this. So we'll get past this part, guys, and the audio should be better. Okay. So I will name my ad. So I'll just do whatever it might be. I like to do, say, for example, homes with acreage. A pro tip here would be to pick something specific, like just listed homes in a specific city, homes with acreage, fixer-uppers, new construction. You'll think about a certain type of angle you want to have. But what I want to focus in on here is for the ad creative, just a little pointer. You can say, see a complete current list of homes with 3+ acres in York, PA. And then a lot of times I'll do price between 200K and 999K or something like that. I like to put a price range in there, just a little bit of a tip. It seems to convert better when you mention price and you get specific. And then I will put a headline in, York, PA homes with 3+ acres. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to upload an image or create a video. Facebook has a video slideshow creator inside. I'm going to skip that part of the demo only because I know that it will mess up our sound if I try to do that with so many people on and Facebook's resources. We're already having an issue, but just know that you'll add an image or a video right here to your ad. The important thing that I wanted to cover with respect to this demo is how to create the lead ad part of it. And that's what we're going to come up to right now. So you'll do your ad creative as I just showed you. Make sure you get an image in there, unlike I did. And then we're going to come down here where it says instant form. And then we're going to create the form. Like so. Give my form a name. So 3+ acres. I usually leave this at more volume versus higher intent. Basically, the higher intent makes them take another step before they fill out the form, so they really know they're filling out a form. You can upload a background image or leave it off. I usually skip this part right here and actually remove the intro. And right here where it says remove greeting, I usually click that. Be a little confusing. You can use it. It won't kill the lead form, but there are some things, some pitfalls when you try to add extra stuff. A lot of times it'll kill the conversion. It'll make people stop and pause and think. So the way I'm doing it is the way I'm showing you on the screen is the way I do it. So I delete the intro and then I do custom questions. This is kind of the important part right here. And I go right down to where it says choose the type of information you need. And I'll go name, email, and then add category, contact fields, phone number. And you'll also notice that you can, if you want, collect their street address. This is very powerful for seller leads, for example, and other details about them right there. But the full name, email, phone number is generally what I always include. And you might have noticed that I switched the order. I had email first and then full name. To me, just logically, I like to put full name, email, and I always put the phone number on the bottom. Maybe a little bit of a dirty trick, but I put the phone number at the bottom so that people don't, it's not so in their face that they're submitting their cell number. So, a little bit of a trick there. For privacy, this is the privacy policy link on your KV Core website. So if you go to the bottom of your website, you'll notice there's a link that says privacy. And that link, if I click on it, it'll show up in my browser here, and it'll look a little small for you. But basically, it's your subdomain, your main KV Core website, /privacy.php. So that link goes right here. And then on completion, you just say, great, click to continue, something like that. And this is the part where you can then put, see the homes now, and then you're going to put the link to the properties right here. So we have a lot to cover today, so I'm not going to go find the link to my 3+ acre properties, but I think you guys, this is the nuts and bolts of how to run a Facebook lead ad. Now, good question from Richard. He's saying, can they skip past their phone number if they don't feel comfortable? People can manually delete the phone number, or they can change it. And it happens in very rare, in my experience, it almost never happens, but it happens sometimes. I would say 90% of the time it doesn't happen, but they certainly can. Good, and Cameron's answering there for you too. Great.
So yeah, I was also going to say there, Brian, is there any tactics you can use to make sure that you get it when you're creating it, in terms of like how you lay out your form?
Yeah, the best tactic is one I showed where try to not have the phone number up top, put it down toward the bottom, if you want. But the experience from the user side is they usually click through really quickly. And that is why when we talk about conversions, for any of you who have done this kind of ad, sometimes you'll get people who say, I don't remember submitting anything. And it's not that they may be lying to you. Sometimes they just don't want to talk to a salesperson, but sometimes it's that they just don't really remember doing that on Facebook. And you can just say, yeah, there was a form on Facebook you probably clicked through, and then they might remember or not. So there's a question, does this use IDX? It links to the IDX. I probably went too fast there. This link part right at the bottom, what you're going to want to do is send them to the thing that they opted in for. In this case, I would go create a squeeze link in KV Core. I would go to the lead engine and make my link to my 3+ acre properties, and then I would say, hey, this is where to take them after. Or if you want to go really kind of pro and next level, I might take them to a video that says, hey, my name's Ryan. Thanks for checking out my property list. The link is down below. I call that a bridge video. We've done other webinars on that, but basically where you get to know them first, then you take them to the property. But for the purposes of this workshop, I just want you to understand this is how it's done. You go into Facebook, you click the lead generation, you kind of work through the wizard, and you make sure you create the form like this. What's up, Dennis? Thanks, man. Okay, so that's that. That's how to create the form. There is another step here, and it's going to make some people's heads explode. I know it makes mine explode, Cameron. I know it makes yours explode a little bit.
This is enough to make my head explode. I did this the other day. It was the first time just going through it, and I was lost.
Yeah. So basically, that's how to create it. Now, you are going to have to bridge. Maybe I should use a better word. But you're going to need to connect that information that comes over to from Facebook, and you have to make it go into KV Core. Because Facebook doesn't really provide any easy way to say, hey, send this into KV Core. You need a third-party kind of solution that does this. And the two solutions that I have here on the slides, one is API Nation, and the other is Zapier. So API Nation is available from our marketplace. It's a free solution offered by the nice folks at API Nation. And if you just kind of search the marketplace for API, it'll come up here. You click Learn More. And you click Add to KV Core. They have a wizard that will basically allow you to connect your Facebook lead ads to, let me see if this will let me do it. It might say that I've already done it in the past, but it'll connect your Facebook lead ads and then push your leads into KV Core. I almost said zap. But here we go. So we have documentation about how to do this, and I believe there's a video when you click through it to Marketplace. And this is a free solution right here. So you can see the wizard. I'll kind of just walk through here. I got to tell API Nation to get rid of this annoying chat. Get that out of the way. And then what it'll do is it'll look for your lead forms, and you'll kind of map the fields over here. See right here, you'll take the name that Facebook has on file, the email, the last name, and you'll tell it to go into KV Core a certain way. I'll put the cell phone, and I can actually move a hashtag in if I want to. So I'm getting a little more advanced on the bridging. I want to get to more of the webinar, but this is, for the purposes of this workshop, just understand that that's one of the tools you have at your disposal. API Nation. It's available for free in the marketplace. The other option, which a lot of people go toward, is to use Zapier.com. And one of the reasons they do that is because it offers, if you're doing a lot of other integrations and you're advanced enough to be doing Facebook lead forms to begin with, a lot of times you have other things that you're trying to connect up. And Zapier gives you kind of a full suite of integration options. So I do have webinars, I think, about API Nation and Zapier in that at insiderealestate.com/webinars when you're ready to get to that point. But it's a little bit beyond the scope of what we're going to do today. Just know that that is how it's done. You need a Zapier or API Nation. Hi. Frankie, the bridge video, just show you guys now, because we are getting some questions about the other content I'm mentioning. If you go to insiderealestate.com/webinars, there's this YouTube playlist, and it should be in that playlist. So I will send the link to everybody who's watching live to the bridge video. Please don't watch it now. Pay attention to me and Cameron, which you guys are laughing at. But there it is. And then the one that I mentioned about Zapier is right here. And for everybody's, we do a lot of this more advanced stuff in the Next Level Mastermind, which is available from the marketplace too. And yes, this video is recorded. So, so there's those two. And that is sort of the quick demo of how to do this gobbledygook. You know, you go in, you run the ad, make sure your ad copy is good, make that lead form, and then bridge it into KV Core. And then on my next slide, I have this picture of the dude from, what's that show called?
Futurama. His name's Fry. It came back to me.
Fry, right. So I had this picture of him because the reaction I usually get when I do this demo and I talk to people about it is like, no. I'd rather be out with clients, and this is not me, you know. So and I will say that even if you've done this hundreds of times like I have, it doesn't always work. Some of you guys might have seen me fumble a couple of weeks ago. I had a friend of mine on a few webinars, and it didn't convert well. I wasted some money for a few days, which happens with ads, and I finally got it working. But even if you've done it a bunch of times, there is a little bit of back and forth struggle and learning and just testing and getting things working right. So the question asked, I guess, is your time more valuable with clients or behind a computer screen? And a lot of times we get the reaction, yeah, can I just push a button and have this done? And that, Cameron, I think, is where you come in.
I get to be the easy button guy.
Yeah, yeah. So Cameron in particular, guys, Cameron oversees our core property boost solution and some of our other ads products. And Cameron, do you want me to kind of run through a quick demo of what property boost is? Or
let's just introduce it a bit here with this slide, and then we can go into a bit of a demo as to where it comes into play, because I think that'll sort of flow nicely. But what I wanted to sort of introduce in terms of your easy button is a couple of different products that you can use from the marketplace that'll help you with this, taking advantage of this type of lead form ad, because these forms are so powerful in getting the right information from your lead and flowing that into KV Core. So Property Boost is the first one that you can take advantage of, which is basically kind of like a one-button approach to building a Facebook lead form ad that will help you promote a particular listing. So if you've got a listing and you want to promote that and show your seller that you're doing a great job for them and you're investing in the promotion of that listing, Property Boost is a really great way to do that, and it generates real leads. And the nice thing about Property Boost in particular, as well as the other platforms that we have, is that because you're building these all right from the marketplace and you're letting us take care of getting that ad out on Facebook for you, there's none of that complexity that Ryan showed. So you don't have to create the form, you don't have to create the different business accounts and the Zapier integration and that kind of stuff. All of that stuff is done automatically. And we build and purchase and manage the ad for you. And then the nice thing is that once the ad, if the listing sells, for example, while the ad is running, we take it down. But another great advantage here is that, like I mentioned before, it looks great to your sellers because you can actually include them as a recipient of a weekly performance report. So as the ad is running, they'll see how many impressions it's getting, they'll see leads that are being generated, and it really, really helps for a very relatively low cost, helps to sell a property and also get a listing. So with that, Ryan, I was going to say, if you've got KV Core open, why don't you show how the different ways you can access Property Boost before we move on to the next slide?
Yeah, I was a little late there getting your slide big.
Yeah, yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go into Marketplace here. And the way I always do it, it's usually on the first page here. You can go to the leads section and it'll be there. Or you can always just type property like that. Start typing property boost and it shows right up. And if I click that, the first time I do it, it'll ask me to add property boost, just a quick click. And then I can come right in here and I can type any listing. So I'm just going to start typing some random numbers. If this is your listing, I apologize. I'm not actually going to run an ad for it. I'm going to click use selected listing. And then Cameron, do you want to point out what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the page that where you're building that ad. So you can see on the right-hand side, that preview is a preview of what the real ad will look like. You can see the text that we're putting in there automatically for you. When you click on the learn more in the ad, once it's on Facebook, it'll actually direct you right to your website with the listing detail page for that property displayed so they get to see it. But you can see at the very top here, you've got 3 different boosting types that you can run. One is a listing type, which is basically what you're seeing here. Great for your new listings. An open house, if you want to promote an open house. And then you've also got a price reduction. And basically what that does is it changes the copy for you. So you can go in there, you can actually build up this ad for you. It's pretty simple. The only thing you really need to do is define the website. You can see in that second, on the left-hand side there, that second box there, you define the website it's going to drop you into. You can also do any additional targeting. So Ryan, what we'll basically do is we'll pick up on the city that this product is, that this property is in, and Facebook will automatically do that 15-mile radius around that. But you could also pick a different city. So if you know that you've got, this is particularly good for like vacation properties where you know you get people coming into town from another place, you can have a secondary city that you're targeting them as well. So you can exit out of that one. If it's an open house, you set the times of the open house. And then down at the bottom there, you can see this compliance text. Right there, there's the compliance text, which basically is if you do have any requirements of sharing any additional information, like your brokerage name or anything else that your MLS board requires you to use, you can put it in there. So that's the first, yeah.
You should have never shown me this. So basically I can go in there and add whatever I want.
Yes. It's compliance text, Ryan. Come on.
Compliance text, but you know, it is interesting. You know, put your compliance text in there, but you could add a little extra stuff in there if you want.
You absolutely could. Yeah, you get a little bit extra stuff. Now, the one other way that I'll show you to get to this too is if you want to go to the listing section in the KV Core, if you just exit out of this and go back to KV Core, go to your listings, and right here on your listings, even without adding it to your account from the marketplace, you can basically pick any of your listings, and you can see that big green property boost button right there at the top. You can click on that button, and it'll start actually creating a property boost for you right from there. So it's really, really easy with a couple of clicks to build that. When it goes onto Facebook, it's actually going to create that nice Facebook lead form ad that's going to show up and be targeted to an automated audience based on the location, and it's going to get that up and running for you.
I had a question the other day, Cameron, and it was one that I thought was a good one. A broker was asking if they could do this for any of their teammates' listings.
Absolutely. So yeah, so you can actually boost listings. So if you don't have any listings and you want to maybe generate some new interest into your funnel, you can talk to your fellow agents in the office. You can borrow their listings. You can also, the brokers, there actually is an enterprise as well where your brokerage can purchase a predefined amount of property boosts that will automatically get created and automatically boost. So there's a couple of other channels you can go through there.
And if people are asking, you can actually do it for any listing. You just need to have the permission of a listing agent or consult your broker. Correct. It does come up a lot.
Yes. There's a question coming in there. Do you have to set up a Zap to get these in KV Core? And you do not. So these will automatically boost right into KV Core. Sorry, your leads will come directly into KV Core, and they'll be tagged with a unique hashtag that will indicate that it's property boost from that address. So you'll see sort of like, hashtag PB, and then the first bunch of characters from the address will show up.
And this, Cameron, this is the big why. I mean, this is the big time saver. Everything I just showed you around creating the lead form and then doing the tie-in with Zapier or API Nation gets eliminated.
Absolutely. That is the huge why. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
So let me jump back to the slides for a quick second.
Yep.
Put that back and present for me.
Yep.
This is great. I've got an assistant.
Yep.
Do you want to hit next for me?
Sure.
Yeah,
It's
great.
fun. I don't have to think.
Next one more time.
Yep.
So the result of this is that you do get some pretty decent performing ads. And I wanted to show a quick sample here for you because, while this is not necessarily, the disclaimer part of here is like, this is not necessarily normal performance, but you can see there's some examples here. I've got about 15 examples where these are Property Boost ads that we're running that generated tens of thousands of impressions on Facebook. You've got people not only clicking on it to go through and generate leads, but they're also sharing. So they're getting that and they're exposing it to more people again. So they're generating leads, and you can see the cost per lead can actually come down really, really low if you're in an area where you're generating a lot of interest. So if you've got a low inventory situation and you want to get your house on the market and present this, get this out to the world as quickly as possible, this is a great way to get it out there, get it exposed right into people's Facebook feeds. It's not interrupting them. You're not, reaching out to them with an email. This is sort of like getting right into their feed, almost sort of passively, and it's showing a real listing and it's driving traffic right to your website. And then, Ryan, I think you have a great tip about, monitoring sort of the performance of your ads there.
Yeah, I wanted to stick this in the slide because what Cameron has on the screen here is some of the better performing. That's the low side of a cost per lead. Cameron, I don't know if you mentioned, usually it's what, between $3, $4 up to $8 in that range?
Yeah, I think on average it's about $7.
Yeah. So the point I wanted to bring up was this is an example of where, as a practice, I like to recommend that people maybe boost every listing on a shorter time frame. Maybe you go for the 3 week, or maybe you do a week for every listing. And then what you'll find is that some of them, for whatever reason, the picture of the property, the location, whatever it is, really resonates with the marketplace, and you get this activity where you're seeing under $1 per lead. In those cases, you can then go back and rerun the ad for a longer period and kind of scale that way would be the term you'd use. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, great tip. Moving right along. So we did show you in the KV Core side of things, but I know we may have some people on here from Core Listing Machine. This is actually another way to access this if you're using Core Listing Machine as your primary platform. Right from the listing, you can click on the Core Property Boost button right there in the right-hand side of the listing screen. It'll take you to this login screen. The only difference here is that when you click on it from a listing and it goes into Property Boost, you will have to enter the address or the MLS number to get it going through to the next step. But you can access this from Core Listing Machine as well if you're using that platform.
Great.
All right, moving right along.
So
pricing for Property Boost is really simple. You basically buy it by the week. There is a small option as well to use a 3-day boost, which is great for promoting your open houses. Starts at $45. A week of Property Boost will run you $60, which is a really good deal. You can sort of see there that the best value there is at the 3-week time frame where you do save about $30 on it, so about $10 per week cheaper if you run it for 3 weeks. But it's a $60 really great way to dip your toe into this marketplace of promoting your listings on Facebook using these Facebook lead form ads and seeing those things come right in. Because all of you are here today on the webinar, we actually have a promotion, an early Christmas present for everybody.
Wait, I'm going to make everybody stay longer and maybe not give them the code.
You're going to skip it? All right, cool. Let's make it stay. At the end, we're going to give out a discount code, so you got to listen to me drone on for another few minutes before
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to give you that discount. All right.
They can all see the code now, but what I did want to mention is we're getting tons of questions. We're going to get back to them, and we are going to talk a little bit about the process of converting these leads. So I see some people leaving saying, oh, this is just about Property Boost, but we do have more content related to the actual nuts and bolts of working this stuff. So let's go to the next screen. There's your promo code.
Well, hold on. Here's your promo code. So if you use the, between now and Sunday, if you buy a Property Boost using Ready 2021 at the checkout, we'll give you 25% off, which basically will give you a 1-week ad for the price of a 3-day. So that's a pretty good deal.
I'll drop that in the chat. Is that case sensitive?
I would say yes, to be safe.
To be safe, just type it all caps like this. I can't remember if those are case
Correct. Yeah, I can't remember either. Yeah.
So I'm going to stop for a second, Cameron, if you don't mind. I'm going to kind of circle back through some questions related to Property Boost before we continue on and talk about how to convert, some best practices for converting these leads. And there's another option too. It's not Property Boost for getting this done as well, right? So let's see here. Wow, lots of questions, guys. All right. So the lead is generated. So there's a question about when the lead is generated. With the lead forms, they are generated via API basically. Like when it happens at Facebook, the lead is pushed into KV Core. It's not generated from the pop-up inside of KV Core. Okay. I'm just going to go rapid fire on these, Cameron. Feel free to chat in.
Yep.
Can you use other agents' listings to promote? You can. Just get permission. Just treat that as you would any other listing that's not yours that you're advertising. Get permission. Follow all the guidelines of your broker and anything else you would do. Does boosting help with commercial listings? As long as the listing is in the is kind of in your local MLS and available through our IDX feed, you can boost it. There's no special way to target those other than I would say that the people who are interested in that listing are naturally going to be the ones who click on it. But there's no, because of the real estate restrictions Facebook gives, there's no specific way. How can we see what we've spent for ad spend per property? You will see that in the Property Boost dashboard, right, Cameron?
Absolutely.
Yep, it'll show all your boosts, the number of leads, and the spend. Just in case you're wondering, I think the stats start showing after the first day or two of running the ad. I think.
Yeah, that's about right. 24 hours. Yeah.
So there's always a lag. Sometimes people say, "Hey, this is showing no leads," but what's really happening is there is a lag period there. When you boost through KV Core, does Facebook also show the people that have clicked on you? Oh no, it doesn't show you the people who have clicked on the ad. You won't be able to see that. Let's see. Good point. Jay saying if you do generate the Facebook ad yourself, you can see all your leads in the ad center. That is true. There's a lead center in Facebook, a built-in feature if you're DIYing this. Dominic's saying, good. Dominic, your question about leads turning into clients, we're going to be talking about that here in a few minutes. So I'm going to get to that as part of the presentation. This is fast. Is there a more in-depth webinar for just Property Boost? I think we have them laying around, but just chat in if you think that you'd want to see a slower, dedicated Property Boost. I think we have some videos in the marketplace about it. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a pretty good video right on the homepage of Property Boost. So if you go in through the marketplace and you land on that page where it says enter a property address, that video there is a pretty concise video of what it all does. And to be perfectly honest, it's really easy to set up. It's all on one screen. So you can play around with it, and as long as you don't click next and put your credit card number in, you can play around with it till your heart's content.
Yeah. Oh, just lost my chat. Let me bring it back up. Wow, so many questions, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry if I missed a few. You know what we'll have to do, Cameron, is if I did miss a few, we can go back and just reply by email too. Is there any guarantee on lead count? Unfortunately, no, because we don't know how the listing is going to resonate with the marketplace. So if you're worried about that, start at one of the lower price ranges instead of going to the higher ones. That would be my advice. But in general, we usually hit that $3 to $8 range, in my experience, per lead. What percentage is going to ad spend versus the setup costs? I'll be honest, we margin. I don't know what that number is, Cameron, but there's a little bit probably goes toward the management, but we try to spend as much as possible. Again, the end of the day, across the board, I think the lead costs are in that 3 to 8 range. Cameron, do you have a total average across all property boosts?
Across all Property Boosts right now, it's sitting at about 7.
Okay. And I will mention that number does fluctuate throughout the year.
Yes.
And so I've seen that number much lower. So just
it was 5 in September.
So
yeah, it kind of fluctuates with the market and the interest. So it varies market to market too, right? Yeah.
Okay. What's the code? It is Ready 2021. It is in the chat. It's capital. It's right down there at the bottom on the screen. Ready 2021. How does Property Boost compare to paying for the Facebook ad yourself? If you're good at this, you have a lot more control. I definitely, Cameron, we have no problem encouraging people we want to see you get leads in the KV Core to DIY this, and you can see similar or better numbers. You just have to do the labor and all the other stuff that was mentioned earlier. But yeah, sometimes I will say like this: I've paid more than $3 to $8 when I do it myself, and I've paid much less. It's kind of it's kind of on a case by case. There's a lot of variables.
There is a question here from Nancy that's saying, don't see it in don't see Core Property Boost in Core Listing Machine at the top where we mentioned. So we'll get some more detailed instructions on how to get to it from Core Listing Machine that we'll send after as part of the follow up as well.
Yeah. Dave's saying, are you going to cover generating buyer leads today? This is a great point about Property Boost. So these particular leads, they're homeowners and renters in your marketplace who are opting in to learn more about the property. In some cases, they might have direct interest in the property. In some cases, they might be a neighbor who's just curious and they may own a home. So Cameron, I like to mention that with Property Boost, you can generate listing leads if you know how to have the conversations with those people.
Yes. Yeah. And there was a question here about for sold listings. It's something we're working on right now for sold properties, where you want to sort of re-promote a listing that's sold in a neighborhood to direct traffic for that. So we are working on that feature as well as something that's on the roadmap for early next year.
Yeah, and Cameron will be talking in a minute about our Facebook ads option, which isn't listing based but can generate you buyer leads.
Yeah, absolutely.
So wow, guys, lots of questions. I think I'm going to move on if that's okay, Cameron, just because we could probably be here all day. And then at the end, I'll try to circle back to more questions.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about that Facebook that, say you don't have a listing basically.
Yeah, or you want to sort of create something that's a little more always on. So, one of the things that differs between Facebook, the Property Boost ads and what Ryan was talking about earlier is that you can create a longer term campaign using this product in the marketplace called Facebook AI and retargeting. And what this does is it's kind of your easy button there to create that, always on. It's buyer focused to leverage those Facebook lead form ads to fill your database with fresh leads. So what this is kind of a little more generic. It's going to be running on Facebook, similar to what Ryan was showing. It's fully automated though, so there's nothing you have to do, no Zapier, no API Nation. Everything is going to sort of suck right into your KV Core website. And we even go a little further with this too, because one of the things that's important when you're running advertising is that you're constantly trying to optimize it to make sure you're running the best version of your ad. So Ryan mentioned a couple of things where in his experience, from all of his experience of running these types of ads, changing this or running it with this type of title, that kind of thing. So what we actually are doing when you run those products is we've got about 10 or 15 different versions of every ad that's running that's always in rotation to keep things optimized and keep things running. And what's really great about these is that you do get that good balance of lead quality and quantity. So it's a little more generic compared to Property Boost, which is targeting a single property. Property Boost is really fantastic in your listing presentation, like I said, because it's a quick and easy way to get traffic to a property that you're trying to list. You're showing them that you're making that investment up front. This is a little more for helping to grow your business. You're going to get this running and run it for a long period of time and sort of just run it month to month. Want to go on to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
So on the next slide, this is just sort of some examples. I wanted to remind you of what we saw early on in the presentation. These are a couple of examples of a Facebook and an Instagram ad that come into this category. You'll see them running with kind of a generic listing type photo with a call to action to, see new homes that are listed, learn more. These are developed in conjunction with Facebook and with our partners to make sure that we're getting the best quality ad out there and running. Like I said, they're always automated, highly relevant. They're immediately created just based on the zip code or the location of your, this is an old slide, the location of your choice is what that should say. And we're using Facebook's AI algorithms to make sure we're targeting based on people who have the propensity to purchase. And they've got a really good algorithm to do that. So we're pulling that in and we're building that out. You've got various versions of the ad with different text, different calls to action. And we do split the spend between Facebook and Instagram. It's heavily weighted towards Facebook, but you will see Instagram ads come up as well if they're performing well. And we test that automatically in the background. So that's a little bit about how these work. Move on to the next slide.
Sure thing. I was answering the question about seller leads. I just want to remind everybody, these are homeowners and renters coming into your database, and they can turn into listings. I'll explain a little more in a minute.
So how do we buy this? What does it cost? We've got a number of different price point options. This is, again, like an easy button approach. So when you come into the tile in the marketplace and you want to purchase this, you're going to see options there anywhere from starting at $250 a month right up to $2,000 a month. That's going to include both Facebook, Instagram ads, and also retargeting. So somebody did ask a question about retargeting and being able to target different people that are in your database already with ads on Facebook, and that's sort of defining an audience. I don't know, Ryan, if you've got any material on that you've done in the past. It's kind of a different product from what we're talking about. But this product does include some minor retargeting where once somebody does visit your website, they will see your ads again. So it sort of helps to provide you with that retargeting with the top of mind aspect of it as well to keep you always, keep your ads coming back to the people that have already clicked through.
Yeah,
so
we don't talk.
on average, yeah, sorry, go
Sorry,
ahead.
we don't talk about that enough. A percentage of the spend on this option does go toward calling people back who've already been to your website. I think that's pretty big.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Um, the leads on here, you're going to see in most markets anywhere between $5 and $10 per lead. And I wanted to run through a quick ROI calculation here because this seems like a big investment into advertising for your business, but I want to run through this because if you assume that you have sort of a 1% annual conversion rate on your leads, and you take that high price point of $10 per lead into consideration, it means you've got to spend about $1,000 at $10 to get 100 leads to come in to have one transaction. And like we said before, these leads that are coming in from Facebook are sort of long-term. You're going to spend some time with follow-up. You're going to build out a good process for following up these people and keeping them dripped and getting information to them and getting them coming back to your website time and time again. If we take that, take 100 leads and $1,000 of spend to get to a transaction, and you assume that a conservative estimate of about $200,000, for a transaction. If you sell one transaction for spending $1,000 and you get $5,000 in commission at a 2.5% commission rate, that's basically, think of it like a 20% referral rate, which I think everybody would be happy in paying to get to a $5,000 paycheck. And if you take that approach of thinking about your business, thinking about this as an investment in your business and helping to grow your business, it actually is a very, affordable way to go to get some advertising running, generate some leads. It's very, very easy to do, and get those leads coming into your database every month that you're running the program. We do require a 3-month commitment. So when you sign up for this, it's a 3-month contract to get you going. Typically, we do that because it does take a little time for things to ramp up and really start generating and get those ads optimized and get things running. But after that, it sort of goes month to month. But it is a good investment up front. You spend that time working with the program and getting it working for you at a pretty relatively low cost. Anything to add on this slide, Ryan, before we go?
Yeah, we just had a couple questions about lead flow. Just do the math on the 250 versus 2,000. Just divide it by 5 and 10 to get your high-low ranges. So 2,000, you're at the high end of that range. What would that be? 400 leads. At the low end, 200. The reason it's like this, guys, is that some markets are just more expensive than others. We can't give flat across the board numbers, and also Facebook changes from month to month. And then so many great questions. The 3-month commitment is just for this, not for Property Boost. So it's just
Correct.
For the, and part of the reason, guys, you need some time to get a good sample of these leads into your database so they can start to incubate and work for you. If you try it out.
There's a question here for.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say there's a question here. Is this a good option for a new agent?
Yeah, especially if you have the budget. I know new agents don't always, but if you're thinking about building a business for the long term and you want to fill your database consistently with homeowners and renters in your marketplace who are going to come into KV Core and the automation is going to generate conversations about real estate for you, then yes. I just wouldn't spend I wouldn't go to the 2,000 plan if it's 2,000. I don't know, so that's all. Cool. We're getting some questions around the creative here, Cameron, and these are good questions. I just want to kind of address this now with this product. These, because of the way that they're created, these are not this is not like an agency where you say, hey, I want to do this kind of ad, and you get to change the creative. We do this all via AI, via bots, automatically to get the lowest cost per lead possible, lowest pricing, right, Cameron? So there is no customization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
If you want to be able to customize and do a lot of this yourself, I personally do a lot of this in the Next Level Mastermind from day to day. We have a lot of content about how to do that. But for these products, these are push a button, get homeowners and renters coming into your database. So not a lot of customization.
Yeah. I would sort of think of it this way. If you've got a good, if you want to sort of prime the pump for 2021 and start getting your database filled up right now, I mean, I think, dipping your toe in with Property Boost or this Facebook AI retargeting, it is a one button kind of, click that you have to go through, do some very minor setup, that we take care of it from there. And you'll just start to see the leads come in with that lead source tagged in KV Core. for you to start creating a follow-up process for them. And then I think as you see it working for you, then the next logical step was to do some more customized and targeted ones. Maybe you want to start running 3 or 4 different campaigns with different landing pages and squeeze pages. So as you get more familiar with it, there's a good option to sort of go more into the DIY from the mastermind group, like Ryan was saying. But it's a great way to get in there.
Great.
All right.
Okay, let's go into some of this follow-up stuff now, because we've had a few questions about that. Just some best practices here. I'm also going to drop a link to everybody. I didn't put it on the slides. I have some videos and content about this. So inside real estate. FB ad follow-up, just dropping it in the chat.
While you're typing that out, there was actually a great question there on pricing for the Facebook AI that I just wanted to address. That is an all-inclusive price. So when you buy this product, it's giving you everything. It's also taking care. We're managing the ad spend for you. It's all inclusive there. So you don't have to take that and then add on top of that media spend. It is all included in that price, and it's really, really easy to scale it. So if you like what you see and you want to sort of up it, you just let us know and we'll move it up to the next level. So it is all inclusive. You don't have to add your media spend on top of that.
Yeah, and some people are saying they're interested. We kind of glanced over that, Cameron. It's just in the marketplace, and you'll simply, if you just go to the leads section right here, you'll see the Facebook AI advertising and retargeting alongside Property Boost and some of our other options. Cool. Okay, so let's get back to this conversion stuff here. So, all right, a few things. As Cameron mentioned, it's Facebook. So what's happening is that these leads are being interrupted with an ad. They weren't intentionally searching for a specific listing or a specific type of properties. They're looking at cat pictures, they're commenting on political stuff, whatever you do on Facebook, right? And then they're seeing this ad and they're coming in. So the key word is longer term conversions and lower intent. So I think this is an important thing to hammer home and to think about, is that this isn't like when somebody goes on Google and they search Philadelphia, PA homes, and they're thinking they're going to relocate in 3 months. They're seeing an ad out of the corner of their eye, they're expressing some interest. And for that reason, a lower percentage of these, not that it doesn't happen, but a lower percentage are going to jump in your car this weekend and want to look at properties. That said, over the longer term, almost everybody has to move or buys or sells within the next 5 to 10 years. So the way to look at these leads is that this is about building a database for the long term. KV Core is going to do a lot of things. We're going to set up KV Core to do a lot of things that get people talking to us, and it's about building relationships, kind of filling the top of our funnel. So I think that's out of the way. I have another bullet point here, consider the numbers. Cameron kind of ran through that. At a 1% conversion, at $10 a lead, not too bad in real estate. And I think that $200,000 national average is probably low. I think we probably had that on some materials here, Cameron, a year or two ago before the market went absolutely crazy. So it's probably more like 250 or 300, but the numbers work. Now, a few best practices. I dropped everybody that video where I go deeper on this. But basically, always trigger automated property alerts anytime you have a lead source coming into KV Core. So I'll show you where to do that. Say you have Zillow, say you have Realtor.com, you're using our marketplace products, whatever it is, you have a source of leads coming in. Always go to Marketing Autopilot right here. Go to Search Alerts right here. And make sure you set up an alert. So if you're doing a property boost for 123 Main Street, it will come in with something like PB 123 Main Street, right? Right, Cameron?
Yep, exactly.
And you'll know what it is when you get the first
Main Stir, but close enough.
Yeah, but you'll know what the hashtag is when you see the first one come in. We may tell you on order. I forget whether we do or don't. But make sure when you see that first lead come in that the auto hashtag is triggering, and then you can set it up so the system will send similar properties in that area. And you just go through the criteria, fill those out, and say, hey, either daily, twice a week, once a week, send a list of similar properties. And whatever source that is. If you know you're doing the Facebook AI advertising for a specific city, set it up so they get all the listings in that city on a regular basis. And what this will do is it'll make sure that no matter what happens, you paid for the lead. Now they're at least going to see something from you related to real estate on a regular basis, and you'll start to build top of mind status. The other thing I like to recommend is to create smart campaigns that induce conversations. And I have a link here. We recently did a whole session about this. This is a topic in and of itself, but the long and short of it is that you're going to want to make sure that your smart campaign that's being triggered by every lead source sends a quick text and does a few other things over the next few days. Things like, for example, maybe you send a video, like we talked about on last week's webinar. Things like sending a few emails offering financing. So I'm going to try to go in here, see if I have one of these set up. Might have had it. Just for the people watching live, Cameron. Do you want to answer a few questions? I do want to show people what an example of these campaigns look like, because I can anticipate that people want to see that.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm going to bring it up in another window here.
Yeah. There's a question here, can this ad be used for sellers as well? And the answer to that is not yet. But that definitely is a good use case there. And I think, you have to go the DIY route for sellers right now. But that's something yet to come.
I'm going to get on my horse.
I'm
going to get on my horse again with the sellers, because I've gotten lots of listings from buyer side foreclosure ads just by having the lead come in and look for a certain type of property and then start to talk to them, and then they become a seller lead. So I always like to say that.
There's another question here. Can these products be used by a real estate team that operates across states in different MLSs? Do you want to answer that one, Ryan? I'm not sure if I have the right answer for that.
Well, you're going to want to create an order for each market, basically, but there's no reason why you can't. And maybe the spirit of that question is, can I, as a team leader, buy one of these products and then route the leads to all of the agents on my team? You can. You would just have it follow the lead routing rules, and you attach it to that website and have it follow those rules.
Yeah, right. Then there's a question: when leads come in from AI and retargeting, is a hashtag automatically added to the contact? Holy cow! Yes, absolutely. They will be tagged with, I think it's hashtag KV paid FB or something like that. But yeah, they'll have a hashtag so you know that the Facebook campaign is working for you.
Yep, KV paid.
You can trigger off of that.
Yep. Great. So so here's that conversation starting campaign that I mentioned. I think we had the whole webinar about this that I'll drop to everybody. But to give you an idea, you might schedule a task to attempt a call, maybe send an initial text. So if I preview this, hi, first name, thanks for checking out Starter Homes on my website. Just curious, are you a first-time buyer? Do a welcome email that sends them the list of properties again, offer financing. And then one of the big things I like to do on a day 7 or day 10, right around that time, is ask them if they want you to stop sending info, and that will get a lot of replies. So on the follow-up front, make sure you have a good, smart campaign, invest a little bit of time, and just make sure that you at least got those first 7 days done right there. And you can actually see, I'll do this really quickly, these campaigns really work, and if you're going to spend any time mastering anything with KV Core, I'd recommend you figure out how to do one of these campaigns. You can kind of see some of the replies here quickly. Less than there were last week, but here, just people talking as they come in. Okay, let me get everybody that thing that I alluded to, that specific webinar. Here's the link. The campaign itself, Brett's asking, can you share some of these good campaigns? It's more about the structure of the campaign, not about the actual content. We get that question all the time. What content should I send? What specific emails and texts? In the Next Level Mastermind, we do post specific examples, but I think if you watch the webinar I just dropped about conversions, you'll see what I mean by the structure. You can take any lead type and send this quick little conversation starting campaign and expect to get results. Cool. So the video of this training will be at insiderealestate.com/webinars. But that's kind of the nuts and bolts, follow-up best practices. But we do have an easy button here, right? We have a conversion easy button that Cameron will tell you a little bit as well. And I just want to mention that what Cameron's about to discuss can be an and, not an or. You can do all this stuff, and if you want to go a little bit extra on the conversion front, do what Cameron's about to talk about.
All right, let's get into present mode.
Yep.
All right, so one of the important things that I think we all know about online leads, but if you don't, I'll recap it for you. One of the important things to keep in mind is that when people are looking at your website and they're inquiring, it's really, really important to get a conversation going with them as soon as possible, even if they're a long time out. So even if this is somebody who's a long-term conversion for you and they're kind of kicking tires, it's really important to kind of get front and center with them. And getting to a phone call conversation with these people is really, really important. So Core Concierge follow-up service is a platform inside of the marketplace that you can buy that will help with that. And basically the way that it works is that when you buy this, you configure it to say, what lead sources do you want to have go to concierge? And concierge will follow up with them immediately with a text message or an email or a phone call, depending on what information you get from them. So if we have a cell phone number, we'll always text them. If we only get an email address, we'll email them. If we only have a landline, we'll call them. But the idea is we're trying to qualify these leads as quickly as possible by asking them questions to get that conversation going and understand as much as we can about them. And when the lead is qualified, you'll get a notification for you to pick up and take over from that point moving forward. So this is a huge time saver for agents who have a ton of online leads coming in. If you've got a big package, Facebook package with lots of leads coming in, and you don't have time to text them all individually to ask them these conversations and engage with them in a meaningful conversation to get to that phone call, this is a great option for you to kind of move that down the funnel and get them sort of qualified and into your follow-up system as quickly as possible. So if the lead actually requests an immediate phone call, so if it is one of those hot leads and they're saying, oh, I'd love to talk to somebody right now, we can actually do that a couple of different ways. We can set it up where you can actually have them schedule a conversation through your calendar, or we can actually have a warm handoff phone call connected to you directly in that very moment. So it's a really, really cool service to get that follow-up service running and get those leads followed up with immediately by text message. And I can tell you from experience that this is really, really important because when people are inquiring online, they're doing a lot of this stuff, and when they're in the active early stages of buying, they're going to be clicking onto people's websites left, right, and center. And you want to make that connection with them as a human as soon as possible. So we'll go through that a little further. Next slide. So the packaging for this runs this way. You can see that we base it on the number of contacts per month. They start at 50 contacts per month, where we see the most opportunity for people to sort of take advantage of this is going to be when you've got that high number of contacts per month. This pairs really, really well with an investment into online lead generation through Facebook or something like that, because I see in the chat there, Brian said speed to lead. That is absolutely the most important aspect of this. So you can see starting at $350 a month for 50 contacts will get you into Core Concierge. Move on to the next slide. And sort of the proof is in the pudding here. So I want to show some stats actually to sort of show you how this works. And a lot of people might ask the question, why aren't we making more phone calls? Why aren't we focusing on dialing the phone? Text messaging works, and it works really, really well. So for this year alone, with all the agents that have been on this platform with KV Core, we've had a 70% responded rate to the messages that are sent from our follow-up service. So 70% of people are responding in one way or another. And of all the contacts that have gone through, we've actually had 21% of them actually qualified and in the hands of the agent ready to go to the next step. So that's another really important stat. Something really interesting I want to point out, and this will come into play in a couple of minutes, but if you look at the bottom there where it says when the leads come in, 46% of these leads are coming in after hours and on the weekends. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, we have somebody waiting to respond to those leads that are coming in. And you can see all the stats there in terms of the number of text messages that are being sent, the ones that are being, responded to, reading. There's a ton of actions happening through this service and saving a ton of time for the agents that are using it. Next slide. So I went digging into the depths to come up with a really great example to show you just what one of these conversations looks like. So this is from an inquiry that came in from somebody's Facebook ad or website. I don't even know what the source was, but this is an example of the conversation that happened. And I'll draw your attention to a couple of things right off the bat. You can see at the very top here, the conversation. We've got, Alex is the generic person who's responding, saying, we just received your online inquiry, explaining a little bit about how we can help. Are you in the market to buying a home? And the first text message that comes back from the lead is, I'm at work right now, but you can text me. So you've already had permission to start engaging with this person in this first text message. The second thing I'm going to point out, and this was a gold mine when I found it, is that you can see that this came through at 12:53 a.m. and the first response back from the lead was at 1:09 a.m. And then moving right on from there, the next text message that happened was at 1:09 a.m. We responded back asking if they have toured any homes with an agent. So we start on the qualification process right away. So we've got, asking the question, are you working with an agent? They answer no. What price range are you looking to stay around? 200,000 cash. So we already know they've got 200,000 in their pocket to spend. They don't need financing. What locations they're looking at. And if you go through this conversation, you can see we get from the initial inquiry on the website, probably 30 seconds after they made that inquiry, through to the qualification over the course of about 14 hours. But all of these text messages were happening without the agent picking up their phone one time. So there's a ton of information being gathered. And at this point, when this last orange message was sent back to the consumer, and they say thank you, that's closing off the conversation. That agent will receive a message saying that this lead is qualified and ready for you to pick up and run. So it's a really, really effective service to get to these qualifications, and it's going to deal with all the negative things that you don't have to deal with now. You don't have to deal with people, irate that you've reached out to them. They don't remember responding. They're not in the market. The wrong numbers. All of that stuff is taken care of and all filtered out, so that you can spend your time dealing with the highest percentage of the leads that's going to actually turn into the highest likelihood that they're going to turn into a sale for you. So that's a little bit about Core Concierge. Again, it's right in the marketplace. I think it might be really useful, Ryan, for us just to really quickly recap where all of these products can be found in the marketplace for people to see them. If you want to go back to KV Core for a sec.
Will do, yep. Let me just get my browser here. Okay.
Yep,
Here we go. And we'll go to Marketplace.
Yep. And I think if you search for Concierge, we should see it come up if this hasn't been open for too long. There you go. Concierge. Again, like the search works really well to just search for everything.
Yep. And then if you go to the leads section, everything we've talked about today will be under the leads section.
Yeah, there you go. Great point. Awesome.
Great. So lots of questions, Cameron. I think we've hit a lot of them, but we'll hang out and answer a few more. Just want to thank everybody. This went a little long, but we did have a lot to talk about. This is if you kind of follow what we outlined here, if you pick a lead source like Property Boost or Facebook AI ads, and you attach them to the right follow-up, it's that 1-2 punch that can really get you going. And the top producing agents, the ones that I see have the most success with KV Core, are doing some form of combination like this. They pick a lead generation system and they marry it to tools and methods and systems on the back end and scale their businesses. So I'm going to try to get to some of these questions. Again, the recording will be at insiderealestate.com/webinars. We have a YouTube playlist there where we put these recordings, so you can see here. And it'll probably be up later tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest. And we also will send out an email to everybody. Good question from Andy. With Concierge, would you still have a campaign going? Yes, it's fine, but just kind of keep in mind what the Concierge is doing and make them play with each other, right, Cameron?
Yeah, if you're running campaigns outside of Facebook, or you've got good traffic coming to your website, you can use Concierge as is, you don't need to run one of our Facebook campaigns to get it going. But absolutely, I think it's it pairs really nicely with one of these, because you're making an investment into getting those leads into your inbox, and a quick way to make sure you're turning around on that ROI would be to make that additional investment into the follow-up, especially if you have a lot of them coming in, more than 50 or more per month coming into your contact database. That's a lot of text messages back and forth. This will save you a ton of time and a lot of frustration in having to deal with people that aren't ready to go. So it is definitely, and the non-responders, I think, is a good one. I didn't touch on that during the slide, but the other thing too is that we keep the non-responders they're in your database, but we've got them on a different campaign outside, trying to get them to respond. And then, so we'll actually try them for up to 6 months over the course of the month to get them to agree to a conversation. So we keep going even if they don't respond.
It's a really good point. And I think the spirit of Andy's question might be, should you have another smart campaign in KV Core going? You may want to let the concierge do their thing, and then you can always move and remove to other campaigns right there.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You do want to sort of stop. For any of the lead sources that are going to concierge, you'd want to exclude them from your smart campaigns, and then create a qualified campaign, so that when they come in and they get hashtagged with verse qualified, it will that campaign can take over at that point when you're ready to go.
Yeah, brings up a good point about all this automation stuff. I mean, it's kind of the work smarter, not harder, but you still need to put in the initial work to kind of set up how you want the system to work. Like the dumb computer bots don't know how to do everything. So
yeah. And actually, the dumb computer bots, that's a great point there, Ryan, because with Core Concierge, it is a bot that's sending the text messages, but it's driven by a human. So that means there actually is somebody on the other side of those conversations picking and choosing which conversations go. But it just is a very rapid fire way of automated. So it is driven by a person.
Yeah, and I just mean all these various parts, tying them together. Once you there's so much leverage. It's set. It can literally be set it and forget it. You might have to invest a little time learning all this stuff and making the system do what you want it to do. But then you don't need to touch it too much once it's rolling.
Yeah. There's a question here from Julia about with a one-time property boost, what is the default site? That's sort of just your default, whatever your default website is. So it might be your first name dot website address, for example. And if you had any additional URLs inside that you can choose a different one, but you'll just pick your default website, whatever your standard KV Core website is. That's where it'll direct the traffic, and then it'll land you right on the listing detail page for that property. When you click.
Cameron, do concierge credits roll over?
No, concierge credits do not roll over.
So you want to pick a plan that fits your current lead flow. And we were talking before, Cameron, about how concierge is, you want to make sure you have those 50 leads coming in a month before you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's more designed.
Absolutely. Make
sure you have lead flow coming in. If not, definitely leverage the smart campaign functionality, the automated listing alerts that you have in KV Core. They'll get you a lot of the way there too. Wow. So many questions.
So many.
Yeah, guys, really, we do a lot of these webinars. There's so much. We really appreciate the feedback, but I also want to apologize to anybody we missed. It probably has happened a few times here. I think we're pretty good, though. If that's all, Cameron, do you have anything else to add? We can let everybody go here and go play in the snow here in the Northeast.
Yeah, no, I would love to get out and play in the snow. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. We will get the replay emailed out tomorrow. It'll also be at insiderealestate.com/webinars. Definitely check out the KV Core Marketplace for all these options. Click the lead tab and you'll learn more. And you can always ask us questions. Our support team is pretty responsive inside of the dashboard. If you have specific nitty-gritty questions about these products, what they'll do is they'll just get you over to Cameron or me, and we'll get you the answers as soon as we can. So thanks a lot again. Thanks, Cameron. Yep.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.